Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Sunday Matinee. We are still in news-only mode, but hopefully that will change around or in July. But for now, I'm enjoying my break. It's nice to get back together and see people and take a little bit of time off, on top of, just dealing with my day job. So what's going on this week in the news? This is going to be covering June 1st through the 7th. So the first big topic for the week is that Warner Media and Discovery have announced their new company name following the announcement of their merger. To no one's surprise, it is Warner Brothers Discovery. How it's all going to shake out in terms of media distribution, all that stuff, we're really not sure yet. Warner already has HBO Max, so presumably, Discovery content may get merged into there. We don't know yet. This merger is looking to be completed sometime in 2022, so I'm sure we're going to hear a lot about it from here on out. Into more actual movie news, Seth Rogen's CG animated Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles reboot for Nickelodeon Animation Studios has been set for August 11th, 2023. Rogen has described it as a coming-of-age story. That's really all we know about that film, but us 90s kids are going to be excited because that's one of the wonderful nerdy things we grew up on were those Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and boy, did they get rebooted a lot. So let's hope this one sticks the landing. So last week we talked about how Amazon had bought MGM. And the Bond producers had said that Bond will continue to be theatrical release. But Bond writer John Logan, who put in some work for the screenplays on Spectre and Skyfall, he has expressed concern with the creative direction of the franchise moving forward, just citing Amazon, as potentially as trying to focus on the customer experience in terms of its media content, as opposed to allowing writers, directors, and the producers and everyone involved in the creation of the film to have the creative control that these types of movies need. The good news is that while Amazon has bought MGM, they don't outright own Bond. Bond is still 50% controlled by Eon Productions, who have produced the films going all the way back to 1962 with Dr. No. So, there's still I still believe that the Bond series will largely remain in the hands of Michael Wilson and Barbara Broccoli, who have been the producers on the films for the last, since at least the Brosnan era. So here's hoping that Amazon does not edge them out and turn Bond into something that seems a little bit more cookie cutter and is I don't know. I don't want to talk about it. All right. So, speaking of MGM, Jonathan Majors is in talks to play the next adversary to Adonis Creed in Creed 3. Majors was amazing in Spike Lee's Da 5 Bloods. He'll be seen coming up in the Marvel Cinematic Universe as Kang the Conqueror in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. So I really enjoyed him in Da 5 Bloods, so I think he's a good choice here. Indiana Jones 5 has officially begun production in the UK. It is still set for July 29th, 2022, so we are a little bit more than a year away from a new Indiana Jones. Fingers crossed that it's going to be a step up from Crystal Skull. As always, for those of you out there who like Crystal Skull, just keep loving it, stand for it. I'm a big fan of Raiders and of Last Crusade, and Temple of Doom's a good time. Crystal Skull just didn't click for me, so I'm really hoping that that James Mangold can get this series into a place where, it's the last one, so let's see if he can really end this series on a high note. All right. Last week we talked about Firestarter. So we now know that Ryan Kiera Armstrong has been cast in the lead role of Charlie, the role that Drew Barrymore played in the original film. So she has appeared recently in It Chapter 2, Netflix's Anne with an E, and she will be seen very soon on the big screen in Black Widow, and as well as Amazon Prime in the Tomorrow War. So, yeah, Firestarter remake. We're going to keep our eye on that one. All right, Netflix has canceled Jupiter's Legacy, but they also renewed. Hang on one second. I am going to have to look it up really quick because I forgot. I forgot which Shadow and Bone, I believe it is. Shadow and Bone. So Netflix canceled Jupiter's Legacy, but they renewed Shadow and Bone. So some fans are going to be disappointed. Some fans are going to be really happy. Um, Unfortunately, not everything ultimately makes the cut, especially on streaming services. Netflix studios seem to like to cancel a lot of things and not give them too much leeway. I imagine they must be very expensive to produce, and it's a shame because I know there were definitely fans of Jupiter's Legacy out there, but for you Shadow and Bone fans, that series has been renewed. Let's talk about John Wick Chapter 4 here real quick. Donnie Yen and Shamir Anderson have been cast in John Wick Chapter 4. Who they're playing, nobody knows. But hey, we like Donnie Yen over here, so he's going to bring something good to the table. And I can't speak for all the John Wick movies, but I really did enjoy 1 and 2. I haven't seen 3 yet. But if 3 and 4 are anything like 1 and 2, I have a feeling I'm going to have a good time watching those. Mission Impossible 7. What is happening on the production of Mission Impossible 7? Well, it's been shut down. Someone tested positive for COVID-19. This is not the first time that production on Mission Impossible 7 is shut down. In fact, the first time it shut down due to COVID-19, Tom Cruise got extraordinarily vocal with the crew about safety precautions. I haven't heard anything about him going on a similar rant this time around, but here's hoping that this shutdown does not delay the release of Mission Impossible 7 any further than it already has been. It's already been pushed out from 2021 into 2022. Let's talk DC Extended Universe now. A photo from behind the scenes of The Flash has teased Michael Keaton's classic Batman suit. It's basically a photo of the classic 1989 Batman logo from the Tim Burton film. A little bloodstain on it though. But here's hoping that's a good sign. Keaton has been basically officially set to return, but here's hoping we actually get to see him in costume as the iconic character. All right, let's move on to some Marvel news. Issa Rae is set to voice Jessica Drew, aka Spider-Woman, in the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse sequel. Very little is known about the Spider-Verse sequel, but now we know it has Spider-Woman, and it sounds like a lot of the main cast is returning. I adored Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. It was such a great way to cap a great 2018, a great year for comic book films. So a great way to cap it all off. So I'm excited to see, and it was just, the animation was just beautiful. So I'm really excited to see where they go with this next film. Over at Disney, Cruella is already got a sequel in development, which shouldn't be too much of a surprise. It's done well enough at the box office. I'm sure they were just waiting to light that green light. And speaking of box office successes that are getting sequels or spin-offs, A Quiet Place is getting a spin-off set for 2023. This will not be a sequel to A Quiet Place 2. This will, in fact, just be a spin-off that focuses on different characters, possibly a different setting, new writer, new director coming in. So don't expect to see John Krasinski and Emily Blunt and the Reagan family again. We could still see them in A Quiet Place Part 3. Part 2 definitely left the door open for a sequel. So we'll see about that. The cast of The Matrix 4 has added Christina Ricci. But hey, this is supposed to open, The Matrix 4 is supposed to open, I believe, by the end of the year. and we really don't know much about it yet. So we'll see. I have a feeling this one's going to get pushed into 2022. If it hasn't already, it may have already been pushed into 2022. I'm not entirely sure. News on The Matrix 4 has been extremely light these past 6 months. Let's talk about a film though that's going to be opening in just about a month. Black Widow. Black Widow is going to be getting a special IMAX release because apparently about 22 minutes of the film were filmed in an IMAX ratio. So they will be releasing it with that expanded aspect ratio onto IMAX screens, which means that the best way to experience Black Widow may very well be at IMAX theaters, which is going to be rough for some people who may not live close to one, or, I'm sure a lot of you are going to stay home and lay down those $30 to watch it on Disney Plus, and you'll miss out on that aspect ratio. But for those of us who are somewhat close, mask up, go enjoy Black Widow. All right, let's talk about the box office real quick before we wrap things up. So this weekend, the number one at the box office was The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, with a 3-day total of 24 million. Not surprising given the pedigree of that franchise, especially on its opening weekend. A Quiet Place Part 2 dropped down to number 2, taking in 19.5 million for the weekend. Cruella dropped to number 3 with 11.2 million. Respectable drops for both films, dropping one place apiece. Not bad at all. Spirit Untamed, in its opening weekend, the family-friendly animated film only brought in 6.2 million. It may be just parents aren't ready to bring their kids back to movie theaters yet. Who knows? And I haven't heard too much about it. I think it's a Jason Statham movie, Wrath of Man, which has been in theaters for a couple weeks. I haven't heard anything about this film. It was in fifth with 1.27 million. So that is the box office for the week. So yeah, we got some more new movies coming up soon. Black Widow, like I said, we're a month away. So yeah, I believe this weekend Warner Brothers is releasing In the Heights, which will also be available to stream on HBO Max if you're a subscriber there. All right, so what have I been watching this last week? I got to get out to theaters and I saw A Quiet Place Part 2. I enjoyed it very much, and hopefully I'll be able to get a review up on the blog here real soon. I also watched the first episode of Star Wars: The Bad Batch, as I said I was probably going to. I am interested enough to continue on with the series, but I haven't yet. I've had other things going on. So yeah, Bad Batch. Good start. Seems interesting. Yeah, that's really all that I have watched this last week. Yeah. So yeah, that's it. So, like I said, hopefully we're going to have some new episodes coming up sometime by the end of the month or by July. We'll definitely be talking about Loki once that series ends. Hopefully, A Quiet Place will get an episode because it was kind of, for me, the first big movie of the summer, which is crazy to think because it's the first new movie I saw of the year and it's in June. Crazy. Um, and Black Widow. We're gonna have to talk about Black Widow in July. So there should be some stuff coming up. Yes, I know a lot of it's comic book related, but you know what? That's what people are interested in. Darn it. So yeah, that's it for the week for June 1st through 7th. If we're not back with a full episode next week, you'll at least be able to catch me, and I'll tell you what's going on out there. So until next time, have a good week, everybody.